Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo, and it's great to be on the show again this week. I hope you enjoyed this one. Now, I'm reading an interesting book here, which I'll introduce very soon. But let me read from page 30 here. With a fatality risk of 0.13 for air travel, on average, a person would have to travel by air every day for 461 years before experiencing accident with at least one fatality. Did you hear that? 461 years every day before experiencing accident with at least one fatality. On average, a person will have to travel every day for 20,932 years to experience 100% fatal accident. Wow, just incredible statistics, incredible. Now, I'm reading this from a book titled Cutting Costs Without Cutting Corners, written by a man who has seen it all and done it all in the aviation sector. If there's anybody to listen to as far as aviation in Nigeria is concerned, it's this gentleman. He joined us recently to discuss his very intriguing book. Let's get to meet with him and then enjoy the conversation.
Dr. Gabriel Olowo is an aviation economist and an author. Olowo, who is an alumnus of the University of Lagos, has 2 doctorate degrees, one in business administration from Samuel Adegboyega University, Nigeria, and the other in technology from SK University, Cotonou, Republic of Benin. Dr. Olowo has about 50 years of experience in the aviation sector. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, a fellow Institute of Tourism Professionals, and a member of the American Chamber of Commerce, Brazil Chamber of Commerce, and Industry British Chamber of Commerce. He has served as chairman of the IATA Agency Investigation Panel for West Africa and a member of the ECOWAS Parliament Committee on implementation of the Yamoussoukro Treaty. Olowo is currently the president of the Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative. He joins Channel's Book Club to discuss his book, Cutting Costs Without Cutting Corners, which highlights important dynamics of the local and global aviation industry.
You're welcome, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
Great. And I mean, you've had so many years of experience in the aviation sector, and you finally decided to give us a gift by writing and publishing this book. Well done.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I understand that writing a book is a totally different ballgame from every experience you've ever had.
Definitely, yes. It is a challenge. But you see, it's not good to pass the planet Earth without leaving something behind.
That you've written.
All the things you sweat in so many years of your endeavor, and you just carry it into the grave like that.
Terrible.
I mean, it's suicide.
It's a tragedy.
So I just thought of myself. I said, listen, age 21, you've entered this industry, and you're about 70 now. Don't carry this knowledge away, this experience. Don't carry it away. Put it in a book. See how you can make it academic, make it practical experience, make it, because I learned the rope. I grew through the ranks. I yet went through college. So that knowledge shouldn't just go into the grave like that.
Okay, here we go. This is not exactly a memoir. This is more like a handbook on aviation. It takes a reader through the various aspects of aviation, policies, training, accidents, accounting, financing, all sorts of things.
Engineering, piloting.
That was what motivated you to write this. What's the story behind this book?
Precisely. You know, when you think about the word cost, in every sphere of life, cost is a major issue. Even our polity, you want to cut costs. But are you cutting it rightly? When you don't cut rightly, you are cutting corners. If you give 10 yards of material to your tailor, do me an agbada, and he wants to cut some for his children and grandchildren.
My agbada,
At the end of the day, your own agbada will not be exactly what you want. Now, he's cutting corners, all right? And if you don't give him enough, because you are cutting cost, he wants you to give him 7, and you give him 6. You are cutting costs. At the end of the day, you are cutting corners.
You get what you deserve.
So in every sphere of life, cost is a major issue. And you make a deliberate attempt to cut costs. And while you are cutting that cost, you are cutting corners without knowing. And you don't get the result you need. So I just thought, listen, this is a topic that we don't pay attention to in every sphere of our life. And aviation is so intolerant to cutting corners. Any little error in aviation is life.
Is this the summary of the aviation sector? The title of your book, Cutting Costs Without Cutting Corners, does it sum up the aviation sector in many ways?
In fact, every way. There is no element of aviation life that is not here. None. None. Because my exposure took me from the grass to the very peak of it. A to Z. You want to talk about financing an aircraft? You want to talk about maintenance of an aircraft? You want to talk about piloting? You want to talk about onboard catering? Onboard catering? Cutting costs there, you're going to give somebody poison. While cutting costs, you are cutting corners in there. You're supposed to put certain preservative. You're cutting your costs. Oh, 1 drop is enough. When maybe they say put 3. By the time he eats the food, he's having stomach upset. Because at certain altitude, that's the way you prepare food, not like our restaurants on ground. So every sphere of life is contained in here. And that's why all those topics treats every element. Look at the travel agency. The travel agents, they call them ticketers. They are not ticketers. They are lawyers. They're executing a contract between the passenger and the airline. You are the passenger, the airline is the carrier. They are putting a contract together, so when they are putting that contract together, they must understand what they are doing. Because any clause in that contract that you don't understand or the airline does not understand is cutting corners. I must take the pain to tell you, hey, this flight allows you 2 pieces of baggage. Each baggage weighs so much kilo, has this so much size. That is the term of the contract. But you just say, hey, write me ticket. Lagos, London, Lagos. You write, you come out. When you lose your baggage, this is what happened to you. This is your claim. If they tear it, this is your claim. So this guy is a lawyer putting contracts together. You know.
Let's run viewers through what you have here. Aviation in Nigeria, Chapter 1, A Bird's Eye View. And I like the short stories in your book. The first Nigerian pilot. I like that. I like the history of aviation.
Yeah.
The first plane that landed in Nigeria in Kano was 1925.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah.
And it was such a risky flight because there were no...
it was like
there was no aviation support system.
It was like God was falling from heaven. What's happening here?
And you explained how the aviation industry in Nigeria was birthed by the British.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it was like a joke. It's West African, is it Air Force or something like that? It was like a joke.
And then it then evolved.
Evolved and evolved and evolved.
And then you had the Nigeria Airways. And the story of the Nigeria Airways here is heartbreaking.
Pathetic.
How did we...
Pathetic. When we were little boys and you go into the aircraft, oh my God.
Nigeria Airways aircraft.
Nigeria Airways aircraft. And you see our men at the cockpit. And you see our crew. And you see the catering rolling out. And you hear the sound of the engine. Oh my God. It's a real shame. It's a shame. I mean, Nigeria of today, we Well, I don't want to use the word of Wole Soyinka that we're a wasted generation. Yeah. Who and what led us to that wastage is regrettable. It's painful.
Maybe I'll come back to Nigeria Airways, but under this chapter, Aviation Bird's Eye View, you have airline crashes in Nigeria. And you have one incredible table here. I mean, with all the plane crashes ever in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Amazing. With the dates, the airline, the city, the dates. Some of them brought tears to my eyes because I could remember very well some of those crashes.
And my own personal experience of one of the crashes. Did you read that area?
Yes.
How I have to weep more than because every home that I visit, I tell them.
Well, you had to go and bring them back.
You lost one, I lost 122. So I am more bereaved. It's the experience you don't want to have. It's the experience you pray not to happen when you have your accident committee, because you have accident committee in every airline. In the event this happens, what do we do?
So much to talk. I mean, so much to talk about. Sad. Flight standards, groups, directorates, etc. List of airports and their locations in Nigeria. Challenges of Nigeria aviation industry. Then the second chapter, aviation risk management. Where are we? Chapter 3, travel agent, travel management. Chapter 4, corporate governance, the missing link. I mean, you covered everything in a few pages.
Thank you.
But you now wrote one of the times when my travel was smooth while reading your book. Was where you wrote about how safe
flying is.
Yes, in page 30, you said with a fatality risk of 0.13 for air travel, on average, a person would have to travel by air every day for 461 years.
For the possibility of
before experiencing accidents.
For the possibility of your dying.
With at least one fatality.
Yes.
On average, a person will have to travel every day for 20,932 years to experience a 100% fatal accident.
Yes, so it's that simple. So
is this true?
That is why when you go on board of a flight, no matter the poor environment of that operation. You know, Africa one time was blacklisted as flying coffins, dangerous zone. Aviation has so evolved that safety is taken for granted. Those machines, 2 engines, 2 captains, 2 this, 2 that. So if one fails, it's like your eye. You lose one is carrying you. Your nose, 2. Your hand, 2. Your ear, 2. So, and you see, when they now measure aviation accidents, it's now measured in million per million departures. Per million departure. And that statistics there shows you million. In Nigeria in 2017, data is there. We had less than 1 million departures in the whole year.
Less than 1 million?
A whole year, in a whole year.
So aviation sector is not very big?
No, because, look, people, purchasing power is poor. And the cost of flying is not cheap. Technology is not cheap. Therefore, we are not maximizing the benefit of aviation yet. Not yet. We haven't gotten to the level where Nigeria Airways was. Nigeria Airways was parading 50, 40, 30 aircrafts. And each aircraft must do you about 2,000, 2,500 hours to break even. Must do 2,000 hours to break even. And you buy an aircraft and you are doing 600 hours on it. I mean, Lagos, Abuja, 1 hour. Abuja, Lagos, 1 hour. Tell me, when do you want to do 2,000 hours? Just try it and see how many months.
I wish...
For one piece of aircraft to break even. And then you want to have 30 pieces of aircraft, 50 pieces of aircraft. Wow. So for you to have million departures, and when you have a million departure, you have 0.05 or is it 0.03? I don't know the current rate now of rate of accident. And that's how that came about. So when you enter you're a pilot, and let's say you fly every day in 365 days, you may have to live through 2,000, 3,000 years for the possibility of your dying in the airplane. So those guys are very comfortable. So when you travel, just board and just sleep.
I don't think so.
When you go into weather, just feel like you're on Amukoko Road.
I just start praying. I just start confessing all my sins. Well,
I mean, look, in the last 10 years now, there's no accident in Nigeria, none.
I read somewhere in your book that the demand for, air flights from airline companies,
airline companies,
is so high that they can't meet with the demands.
You know, there are so many markets with different desire for the kind of machine they need. But most of the machines out there, most of them are designed for Europe and Western market. The average traveler in the US or UK doesn't travel like the Nigerian or African man. Carries his briefcase and is jumping into the aircraft. So you find some of those aircraft, no provision for baggage. An average African man, when he travels, he doesn't only shop. He's going to carry loads on the right, on the left. So you see machines that does not have plenty of space for cargo hold. For light traveler. Some of them, they call them bus. You hear the air bus. The air bus is for a quick traveler, briefcase only. It's a bag and walk on. So they don't have capacity for baggage. They have small spaces for passenger, no space for baggage. In Africa, we don't have too many travelers. So you need a little space. And you need plenty of space for baggage. So such aircraft is not available. So what you see airline operator in this market do is buy the airplane they see. The airplane with 120 seats. Meanwhile, your average market is 60, 70 passenger. If I carried 120 people to Abuja in the morning, how about in the afternoon, midday? So must I wait 6 p.m. in the morning and 6 a.m. in the evening, only 2 flights, when I should do hourly flights? Every hour, many people will do carry Lagos Enugu, Lagos Kano. So you need an airplane that would carry 30, 40, so that you can do hourly, if possible. And such aircraft now must carry plenty of baggage. The aircraft available will not do that. You have your 737, 120 seats, and 4 tons of cargo. So the aircraft type that most of the operators in our sector need is not available. You buy what you see.
Buy what you see.
And so you have to manage the loss. Passenger space that is wasting and cargo space that is not enough. You know,
well, let me round up with this. I'll read something you've written here, and then on a final note, in page 126, you wrote, "In the last 2 years, it appears to me that the plight of the Nigerian aviation employee, especially cabin crew members, rather than improving, is getting worse. Even though steps are being taken by the government through investments aimed at improving the state of infrastructure in the Nigerian airports. Full stop. But our industry thrives primarily on viable airlines, and this is where the snag lies. One functional aircraft in the air can keep about 150 workers or more active.
Absolutely.
At present, Nigeria lacks strong, profitable, and competitive domestic airlines."
Absolutely.
So please hold that, sir. Okay. Now, you wrote in 127, "At present, foreign airlines are having a field day flying into Nigeria's various airports unchallenged, as Nigeria lacks capacity to reciprocate its over 88 bilateral air service agreements signed with foreign countries. There should be a way to make it mandatory for all foreign airlines operating into Nigeria to have a certain number of Nigerian pilots and cabin crew on their fleet.
Herculean task, eh?
Okay, so I just extracted two of many issues you raised here.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one is the issue of the Nigerian aviation employee, and you wrote here that the plight of the Nigerian aviation employee is getting worse rather than improving.
When you don't have, if I were to be a minister of aviation, when I take my seat, I will say, how many airlines do I meet now? In 4 years, how many airlines do I want to see? If I want to retain those 4 airlines, let's say I meet 4, what fleet do they have? 4 aircraft? Do I want it to increase to X number of level by 4 years? I must have some performance indices for them to say they are growing. If you grow, the employees will grow, isn't it? Averagely, an aircraft will need 180 to 250 workers per one aircraft, where there is good technology. 180 to 250 workers to service one aircraft with all the logistics, different functions.
Amazing.
Yeah, averagely. But in Africa, you even have 300 workers per aircraft.
Wow.
So if aircraft fleet does not exist, does not increase, where do you want to put the increased workers? The workers. How do you want to increase workers? And now, the airline will tell you, how can I grow my aircraft fleet? Where do I operate to? The foreign airlines are coming to Port Harcourt, they're coming to Lagos, they're coming to Kano, they're coming to almost 4 destinations in Nigeria, okay, from their home. What that is doing for your economy is that your domestic sector is being eroded. If you travel on British Airways to England today, people landing in England that are destined for England, they are less than 40%. They are connecting to Düsseldorf, Cologne, this, that. So is a transit point. The same thing for Dubai, the same thing for Frankfurt. But Nigeria, where's your own hub? Everybody flies to the destination. Good politics, bad economics. And I say to the minister again and again, good politics, I want to fly to Enugu directly from Paris. You have eroded Lagos-Paris domestic flight. And so that guy cannot grow his fleet. And when he doesn't grow his fleet, he cannot grow his workers.
I want you to say something about that part about foreign airplanes and airlines just flying into our airspace.
Because now look at Emirates is flying into this country one time. They were flying how many? 13 frequencies. And AirP said, I wanted to fly, is it 5 or so? And there was agitation.
Yeah, if you fly 20 into my country.
I fly 20 to your country.
I should be able to fly 20 into your country.
But do I have capacity to fly 20? No. So if I have no capacity to fly 20, I'll tell you not to fly 20 because you are growing the market for yourself.
Unless you put my people there.
Put my people there. Let's share it. Sell part of your aircraft. Let me sell into a part of your aircraft. Free of charge, because that's my royalty. It's my godfather right. Yeah. If you fly 10, I fly 10. Fair. To fly 5, I fly. But for you to fly more than me, you are utilizing my godfather rights. And you must pay for it.
You have to pay for it.
Yes.
Dr. Olowo, thank you very much for this conversation that I don't want to end. But I think viewers should get this book, and all the things you are saying and more are written in here. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on Channels Book Club.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Kunle, for the time. And thanks for taking the time to have read it, notwithstanding that you're not an aviator.
Well, time is never a friend to discuss everything we want to discuss. There's so much in Dr. Olowo's book. Get yourself a copy, and then you'll find out what I'm talking about. My name is Olowo Kasumo. As always, we'll be very delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.